Zambia depends highly on hydropower generation. With an estimated 60% of the southern part of Africa's water body found in Zambia, ZESCO has taken advantage of this to produce the much-needed electricity power. The northern part of Zambia boasts of many rivers, and the large quantity of water has made it the hub of small hydropower stations that save the local communities, and some supplying power to the national grid. Shiwangandu Small Hydropower Station is located in Shiwangandu district and has the lowest generation capacity of 1 megawatt. Due to the remote location of Shiwangandu that disabled it to be connected to the national grid, the construction of the small power station was the only feasible solution for the area. Mr. Kennedy Chomba, Acting Chief Maintenance Engineer, Small Hydropower Stations, gives us a brief background.
Shiwangandu is just one area in northern province where the existing potential for hydro was identified and it was harnessed. But within the northern province and Wapula, we have the most rivers comparatively in Zambia, and that's why you will see that all the small hydro power stations are located in northern and Wapula province, because these are the two provinces that have the most rivers in Zambia. Shiwangandu is the only project that was done between UNIDO and the government of the Republic of Zambia, with ZESCO as the implementing agent, and it was done by International Center for Small Hydropower Stations in China. The Center for Small Hydropower Stations was actually the main EPC contractor, so they did the works of construction. They had a team from China who were at site and throughout the project, who were mainly supervising the locals that were engaged in the construction through commissioning until they handed over the power station to ZESCO for operations. Equipment that has been installed, both the primary equipment, which are the generating units, as well as the auxiliary supporting equipment, all came from China. It was imported from China, and it has been running reliably so far. The most important equipment in the power station is obviously the generating units themselves, because without the generators, which convert the hydro potential into the electricity that we target, that's the main primary equipment. Of course, assisted by the auxiliary supporting equipment, such as the power evacuation system, the line through which the power gets transmitted and distributed to the end user. Main challenges of running Shiwangandu power station are its remote location, which makes it a little difficult to access. The road is not a bituminous road, and also the general location of our country, Zambia, in Africa without a sea route, implies that in our planning we need to take into account the long lead times to procure spares. So that means we have to probably keep a little bit of high inventory of spares, so that when we have a failure on any component on the generating unit, we will not have to wait for a very long time to order the spares. The other challenge is being a remote area or location, we cannot find trained manpower within the location easily. So we sometimes have to send people from other power stations to the remote location to go and offer the expertise in terms of training those that have been recruited from within the area. Because some people were recruited from within the area, some of whom were part of the employees that were employed by the International Center for Small Hydropower during construction. So some of those who were working during construction have been employed and taken on board to operate the equipment. But because of lack of skill in that area, we have had to send some experienced people to go and train them. The other challenge in running Shiwangandu power station is that being a runoff river, which is the typical of small hydropower stations, we do not have storage. A typical runoff river doesn't have storage. So in the months during and after the rainy season, the flows in the river are very good, and we generate maximum depending on the load that the customers are demanding. But during the dry season, the flows in the river go down, but it doesn't dry completely. So we tend to lower our generation in the dry season, which means some demand may not be met because Shiwangandu is running as islanded. The definition of a small hydropower station is not very specific, just like internationally known. The discrimination between the small hydro and ordinary non-small hydropower station varies. So for us in ZESCO, our small hydropower plants are all below 15 megawatts in capacity. So meaning that the total generating capacity for the power station, all the units put together, is equal to or below 15 megawatts.
Mr. Chomba also alludes to the beneficiaries of Shiwangandu Small Hydropower Station.
The Shiwangandu is located in a remote location, and it was a big challenge to actually get load on that unit. There is some settlement that has been there for some years, and those are the ones who are the main beneficiaries. There is a Shiwa farm and also the Kapisha hot springs, who have been there for a long time, and they were the first beneficiaries. But the communities around who had never even seen electrical power, I can say are the main beneficiaries, because Shiwa farms and the Kapisha hot springs may have had diesel generators and they already knew the benefits of electricity. But the local communities who had never seen power before, but were now given the opportunity to have power in their homes, are the main beneficiaries. In some initial stages, ZESCO had to actually install the fittings in identified individual houses in order to electrify them, so that we can connect them to the network being fed by Shiwangandu and supply them with power, so that we increase the load as well as distribute the benefits of the power station to the community. So those are the main beneficiaries in Shiwangandu. There is a clinic at Shiwangandu, which was recently connected to the grid, and it's part of the community facilities that the community is benefiting from the power at Shiwangandu. There are some schools. In fact, some of the houses that we did electrify are staff houses for some local schools there, and the schools themselves were among the first beneficiaries. The community schools within Shiwangandu were among the first beneficiaries of the power from Shiwangandu. We also are now having new installations coming in now that the power is available. Like recently we had a milling plant which has been installed and being fed by Shiwangandu, which is also benefiting the local community in that they are taking their grain for grinding into powder for their consumption.
The ushering in of electricity plays a positive part in transforming lives. Electrification of the community's homesteads, clinics, and schools has played a big role in making people's lives better. Mr. Benjamin Mulenga, a resident and farmer of Shiwangandu, speaks of life before and after the power station.
Ino nchende elo kushali amalaiti yali ni nchende imwe yashalila sana kwena ichi chintu nachileta obuyanta kuno kunchende ya Shiwangandu district pamulandu wakuti abantu abengi nabakwata kwenchito then abantu bambi nabakwata kweshuko ili akuingisha amalaiti mumanda yabo ukupitila mu bukumu obwo tulefumya kuli ne power plant yeso kwena efintu efyo tulesekelela mumasukulu yonse ayari along nani the road bali chita electrify so efintu efyo tuletotela na ifipatala fyonse natukwata amalaiti mufipatala fyeso.
Mr. Festus Musukwa, the deputy head for Shiwangandu Primary School, also gives us the advantages that electricity has brought to the lives of the students and the school as a whole.
The advantages of power at this school is that now people can even study at night. Initially, they were not studying at night, and most in their dorms, those dorms, they have no power even at now. So usually at night they come in these classrooms and study. And the other advantage is that now we can even conduct computer lessons practicals because of power. In the past, we couldn't do that. If at all we have to do that, then it was a challenge because we have to hire solar panels, batteries, and inverters. So this time at least it's cheaper because we are using power. The other advantage about power here is that it has attracted the members of staff. When there was no power, it was a challenge for us to have teachers at this school. But this time we are we are 7 teachers, and the school runs from grade 1 up to grade 9.
His counterpart, Mr. Silungwe, a class teacher, also adds on.
This school was built in 1920. Roughly we can say it's 90 plus years. And some of the advantages that we have here is that since we have power, students most of the time they come back for prep and they study, and sometimes during night we conduct different lessons.
Shiwangandu Estate, on which the historically significant Shiwa House is located, has also benefited immensely on the power that is generated at Shiwangandu Small Hydropower Station. The electrification of the estate has resulted in job creation and increase in production. Mrs. Chiwesa, who is the secretary for C&J Harvey, speaks on the hammer mill and how this has increased the acquisition of maize from small-scale farmers.
Before the mill came, it was very difficult for people in the community because we used to take our maize, it's about 15 kilometers from here to go and grind our maize from hammer mill. So it's better for people because the life it has come easy because we have a mill here at the farm. Even in the community, outside the community, in the district, in Pika, Chisari, Shiwangandu district, all we supply mill because of ZESCO. We buy maize from community, small-scale farmers. We bought maize last year for 2018. We bought maize about 2,500 bags. Then we sold mill to community and to the district.
Evelyn Chiwombe, who works on the estate's butchery, also gives us the change that electricity has brought.
Amalaiti kuno installaisa twale mfyafi kwali fya batatu tokwete butchery songa twaipa engombe shale afi straight kumtuko ko bale ankutui since amalaiti okwashira twaliamba nomboku panga butchery pono pena tapanga ma sausages fyonse mizi ina millions umefana la panga.
ZESCO's commitment and endeavor to power the nation and the region is paramount to all its operations. Shiwangandu, being a rural and remote area, is not being left behind in the case of electricity power supply. The desire to reach all and sundry is of great significance to the utility company. Shiwangandu Small Hydro Power Station is just one of the models that show that ZESCO is indeed making lives better.